All right, guys, so today we're doing the reliability on this 2009 Audi A4. Okay, so these cars have quite a bit of stuff you need to look out for when you're buying one, and this one's just a example of that. About 120,000 miles. Suspension-wise, you're going to have all of your control arm stuff, all your Volkswagen, Audi, BMW, Mercedes have at 100K. This one, everything's still running on it, but everything's getting very tired. You can see that in the bushings when I had up on the lift and so forth. This is a manual transmission, so no fluid change. If this was automatic, the ZF box, you at 120 you should be on your second, going on your third fluid change. Other than that, it seems like on these newer models, the paint actually holds up pretty good. Everything holds up fairly well. Now, the engine also needs a lot of maintenance, so let's go to that right now. Okay, so here we have the 2.0 turbo TFSI. This is a single turbo engine, overall pretty reliable. Now, unfortunately, they do have some timing chain issues. And also, you know, you get around 100K. Most of these are over 100K at this point. You're going to be one of your coil packs, your spark plugs. As this one, we just had to do the injectors. Your PCV is also something else that you have to look into. Your PCV hose, if that gets any breaks in it, any issues like that, you're going to have problems with it. The next thing is servicing the front of the engine. On these, there's no room between here at all. So you have to put the car in what they call service mode, which essentially means you need to unbolt the front, the core support, and it tilts out. Audi and Volkswagen do the service mode with everything, right? If you do the timing belt, timing chain on any of these cars, depends on what it is, you'll have to put it in service mode to do it. There's just no room, right? Other than that, they also have issues with the intake manifold cracking on the inside. Also, the little butterflies that open and close, they have problems. Those break, those crack, those have all kinds of issues. It's a pretty simple engine. Oil pan gaskets, also a leaking point on these. There's a few other coolant related issues under the intake manifold that can leak and so forth. Also, first thing you guys are going to ask, what about the timing chain? Timing chain on this, the tensioner does seem like it goes bad here and there. If you don't tend to that immediately, it will cause the guides to go bad. It's not as common with this. This engine, as far as I'm aware, has no rod bearing problems. Rod bearing issue is a big issue, right? The Quattro all-wheel drive system, same way. You're going to have to do CV axles after so long. This one, everything's okay, but you can tell that the axles, the boots are getting very tired on them and so forth. This one's probably due for all-wheel drive for transfer case service. Okay, one thing I want to add to this too, high pressure fuel pump. So on these cars, it has a pump in the tank, then it has a high pressure pump, which is back here on the back of the head. And those are prone to fail. However, on this car, they're only a couple $100 and they're not very hard to replace, right? So this is direct injected, like anything this year newer is, and that feeds high pressure fuel via this little fuel line to the high pressure injectors. And that's how it works. Now, with direct injection, you also have carbon buildup. And you can see in the last video we did, when we did this car, we had a little bit of carbon buildup on the valves, not very much. It was actually very, very minor. You've seen a little bit on the fuel injectors and things like that. If it gets bad enough, you will have to walnut blast this cylinder head on the intake side. And how this operates is you have the PCV, which is right here, which is supposed to separate the crankcase, oil and vapor. And that doesn't do such a good job all the time. And then you get oil residue on the intake runners of the intake and the cylinder head. And then carbon and anything else is also whatever grabs to those intake valves and causes a buildup. And eventually in some cars it gets so bad that the car will have misfire problems. It'll have all kinds of issues, hard start, misfire, It won't get on boost right, and it won't clean itself off no matter what you do. So then you have to have a special machine that goes in there and blasts that out. We got lucky on this one. This car did not need that yet, but it might be a machine we look into in the future of getting, just because we could clean any direct injected engine with that. You know, overall not a bad car. All your standard stuff any other German car takes, this is going to take the same thing. They are a little bit ahead of their time, the way the headlights are, the way the bumper is. It could easily pass for a lot newer car. Is it a bad car? No, I wouldn't say at all. It's very appealing to a lot of people being all-wheel drive. What I found, people will buy all-wheel drive car before a rear or front-wheel drive car every time. And there is some appeal to that in rain, in icy conditions, and snowy conditions. You guys know for all the German cars, almost all the all-wheel drive ones with correct tires can do some pretty extraordinary things. So overall, I would give it the go-ahead. If you have modest mechanical knowledge, you could definitely operate this thing without much trouble. Parts are not that expensive for it. It doesn't have all the crazy coding and programming stuff as some of the other cars have. It does not have a $350 water pump, which is always a good thing. And it has quite a bit of room in it. The Audi leather, they kind of all look the same on the Audi stuff. And this one's gray on black. Even though the inside's not the cleanest, you get the idea though. We got some fake carbon fiber looking aluminum stuff there. You see that a lot with Audi stuff. But for a pretty low cost car, you can't really complain. Going right on one of these anywhere from $4 to $6 grand. You know, not a bad car at all. Definitely on the to-do list. If it came in between this and a Volkswagen, I always prefer to buy the Audis because you get a lot more. You get a lot more options on it. The car looks a little better. And if the price in the used market is about the same, you might as well get the Audi version of it, right? But that's going to be it, guys. A reliability video for this car. There it is. Hope it helped. You guys looking to buy one of these. That's going to be all. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.